to Chancellor's reports, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Droker.
Thank you so much, President Delphine Polk. Tonight, we will start with the President's reports, and then we do have a presentation from IVC Smith on facilities update. So I'll start with our acting president of COA, Dr. Jones. And then we'll just go right down the line. And the Chancellor did want to remind you, I'm speaking for her, that please make a note of the things that you just briefly want to cover, as these tend to go long. Those are her words.
Thank you. Good evening, trustees, Dr. Droker, colleagues, members of the community. First, I just want to say I'm not I think you said interim president. I'm acting, no, I'm not acting. I'm acting vice president of instruction, and I'm not a doctor yet. One day, I hope, but thank you. You have the board report in front of you, and it talks about some of our events that we had starting prior to the semester, and then our flex day events, and then about a recent editorial that was published that really showcased our college. I want to focus and just add a little bit more about our enrollment events. As mentioned before by one or two people, about there seemed this renewed sense of energy. And I noticed that too also on our campus, especially on our enrollment event we had on August 19th. We had the event on a Saturday, and it was well attended. People from all walks of life, all ages came. The event was scheduled from 11 to 1. By 10 o'clock, people were coming. They were going into our welcome center. There were lines out the door all day. They're coming to get counseling, enrolling in classes, and assistance with other educational needs. And so that event that was scheduled from 11 to 1 actually went to 4:30. We extended the hours to 4:30 to help all the people who showed up. And as a result of that particular enrollment event, we saw a significant spike in our enrollment. And it was just a well-organized, well-promoted event, and it created a sense of community and excitement about the college, and that we're still seeing today as we progress through our semester. And then on September 6th, the Alameda Post presented an article in which they came to the college, and that article is called COA Puts the Community in Community College. And it really is like a testimony to the hard work and the COA spirit. And so if you have a chance to read it, please do. And that will conclude my report this evening. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Interim Deputy Chancellor Droker, Board President Diana Delphine Polk, trustees, colleagues, students, and members of the community. At Berkeley City College, we are excited to share a very encouraging enrollment report. As of today, we are offering 418 sections with enrollment of 1,304.74 FTES, which is 93.66% of our target of 1,393 FTES. Our productivity is at a high of 14.92%. Of our 418 sections, 31 are for dual enrollment. And we have 83.30 FTS for dual enrollment. And this is up from 22 sections of dual enrollment last year. This has been made possible by the consistent quality collaborations that take place among the Office of Student Services, the Office of Instruction, and the Office of Administrative Services. What we have learned is that it takes all of us. The Office of Administrative Services helps us leverage our funding sources to make sure that we're providing students with the greatest level of support possible. Student Services, through our enrollment workshops, Learning Center, outreach and categorical programs, is doing an amazing job, not only getting students through our doors, but keeping them there once they get there. We provide meaningful support every day to make sure that students have a reason and want to stay. We have student ambassadors on the first floor who stand ready to help other students all day long, and a sign by our elevators that says, "Don't drop, come see us first." So we're doing everything we can to make sure that our students feel supported. Our Office of Instruction has done a phenomenal job using a data-informed approach to scheduling classes that effectively supports program completion and meets student demand. None of this would be possible without our dedicated faculty, classified professionals, and administrators. And if that wasn't enough, as soon as you come through our doors at BCC, you're met with our marina security staff who go above and beyond every day to make sure that we're all safe and well taken care of. Because recruitment is something we all want to be part of at BCC, I asked our PIO, Tom Rizza, to design static cling bumper stickers, and this is the lovely result. So if you're interested in our bumper stickers, let me know. It's something that we can all be part of, and so we're very excited about it. T-shirts are also on the way. Lastly, I would like to provide additional information for the following board consent items. We are asking for ratification of an ICC agreement for parking concepts in the amount not to exceed $400,000. Berkeley City College currently pays for monthly parking at the rate of $210 per person for approximately 100 full-time employees. In addition, throughout the year, the college pays for daily parking for part-time instructors with guest lecturers, interpreters, and other guests conducting business related to the college. Berkeley will be fully operational for the fiscal year 2024 and anticipates total parking expenses for faculty, staff, and administrators to be approximately $400,000. And this is the reason that we're asking for the board's consideration. BCC's goal is to provide stable and equitable workplace environment that is consistent with the district standards. All of the other colleges have free parking, so BCC is located in an urban setting where we, of course, do not control or own any of our local parking lots. Therefore, leasing parking spaces is necessary to provide employee benefit and helps with employee satisfaction in a tight labor market. We are also asking for consideration for a BCC website redesign and migration to HubSpot. The top line goal of the project is to recreate BCC's website presence by simplifying the user experience. The contractor will audit our current website, engage in planning, discovery, and strategy using inclusive input from our students, faculty, classified professionals, and administrators. The focus is to make it easier for students to apply and to enroll and to learn about available programs and certificates framed in BCC's developed guided pathways and access support. This concludes my report for Berkeley City College. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, Deputy Chancellor Droker, President Delphine Polk, members of the governing board, colleagues in education, and of course, valued students and community members. At the beginning of the meeting, as I do sometimes, I put something on at your desks, and it's with appreciation to the Office of Student Activities and Campus Life that I invite you to join us in the quad tomorrow, Wednesday, from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. for our second annual Laney Pride event that will be complete with resources, community building activities, and food. And speaking of student activities, I would actually like to reach back out and acknowledge student Randy Cross. Randy, are you still here? Yeah. You may have recognized Randy's voice. She's actually one of my co-hosts on my podcast. So we're 51 episodes in and we're the better for it to have Randy. So I just wanted to share that. Before I get to the last item in my report, which is enrollment, I do have a request of the board. Over the past few weeks, the Laney community was saddened to lose a couple of colleagues, Professors Ava Clark and Philip Tu. At the conclusion of the meeting, I respectfully request that we adjourn the meeting in their memory. My final item tonight is for a report on enrollment, and really continues to be a great story for Laney College. Our schedule this fall semester was 4% smaller than it was a year ago. Yet we saw an 8% increase in the numbers of students and 7% plus in terms of our FTES. And in terms of our target, we're at 92.9%. Berkeley City College, we're coming for you. And with more classes being offered in late start modality, we're going to chase 100 on our target, and we're looking for that. Also, in terms of our productivity, we're averaging roughly one more student per section than we did a year ago. So those things are pretty good. But with my report, I actually wanted to touch on something that was part of the discussion at a previous board meeting, and that was Free college, and what does it mean over the long haul for students? Are students staying in school? Are they retaining, staying through the semester, succeeding, passing their classes, and are they persisting? Meaning, do they go from fall to spring, or do they go from a first year to a second year? Often with complicated questions, you go get the data. That's something that you do. And on the first page of your board report this evening, I actually did pull some data for you to go ahead and refer to. And I'd like to share one number with you, and it's an approximation, but it's valuable in 3 areas, and that's the number 900. Over the past year, we had roughly 900 more students stay through the semester than the year before. We had roughly 900 more students pass their classes than the year before. And we had roughly 900 more students, and this number was an increase, persist from a fall semester to a spring semester. And this, in fact, was an increase of 1% roughly over the previous year. There were some modest decreases in the other areas, 1 to 2%. And certainly when it comes to community college, we all need to work hard to keep our students enrolled and have them graduate. And that's actually been our focus at Laney College this year, starting with our College Flex Day. But I wanted to bring this data to the board's attention just to show that, you know, in addition to the increased numbers in our Latinx students, our API students, our African-American students, our more than almost 60% increase in numbers of students who apply for financial aid, 30% increase in those who are undocumented students and submit DREAM Act paperwork. In all of those things to that data, we can add that are not only our students enrolling, but they're staying with us. And that was data I thought I'd share with you this evening. This concludes my report.
Mattering of applause. Good evening, Deputy Chancellor Droker, President Delphine Polk, trustees, colleagues, and community members. Tonight, I'd like to highlight just a few items from Merritt College, starting off in alignment with Board Goal 6. This last Thursday, Merritt College held its first safety day, inaugural safety day. The event provided faculty, classified staff members, and administrators the opportunity to share concerns and suggestions related to public safety. I want to give a shout out to Tim Thomas and Amy Marshall, who put that on. We were able to provide 52 employees with badges. And we also were able, 2 faculty members, Mildred Oliver and Miss Margaret Dixon, were able to recruit 12 students to participate in our burgeoning safety aid program. So that's what we're going to be using to help provide a greater level of security at Merritt College. So all in all, a successful day. I have to touch on enrollment too, like my colleagues. Our resident FTS is still second highest in the district and it's remained above 1,300 since fall 21. This year, we're offering 422 sections, so just a few more than BCC. We're very, very close. 74% of them have an enrollment of more than 20 students. And as of census, we're at about 81% of our enrollment target, but we expect that number to grow given the number of our late start classes. It also bears mention that we are within our FTF allocation for the fall term, and that really bodes well in terms of us being able to stay within our fiscal guidelines. A couple of things before I close. Have some really exciting things happening in 2 departments, landscape horticulture and environmental management technology. In case you missed it, our urban agroecology program was recently featured in Edible East Bay, which is a magazine that actually celebrates food culture in the Bay Area. And it highlighted the outstanding work of one of our faculty members and our coordinator, Elizabeth Bogle, the work she's doing to train students in the area of sustaining farming and food systems, creating school and community gardens, and providing food access in underserved communities. And if that weren't enough, last Wednesday, we held the groundbreaking ceremony for the horticulture complex. Our belief was always been that Merritt College could provide a complex befitting the amazing program that we've established. I think this building will do that. So as such, we need to thank the voters in Alameda County who in their wisdom understood the importance of passing a bond measure that made all of this possible. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize a couple of key individuals from the department, Miss Molly Sealand, Miss Nia Hill, Stu Winchester, Chris Gramp, and Laura Forland. We are pleased that these two initiatives support the board goal of building programs of distinction. And with that, I'll conclude my report.
Thank you so much, President. It's always so exciting to hear what's going on at the campuses. And now I'll turn it over to IVC Smith for a 90 days facilities update.
Good evening, Dr. Droker, and good evening, Board of Trustees and Peralta Community College community. I'd just like to remind you, on March 28th, the Board of Trustees approved 19 contracts for local vendors to assist the Department of General Services for the 90-day project initiative. This initiative was to address urgent maintenance and repair issues that have been well over 10 to 20 years that needed addressing and attention. When we asked for lists from the colleges of what needed to be done, as you can imagine, the lists were voluminous. There were many, many items. So we worked with the college facility groups to prioritize and address their highest priorities first. In addition to identifying and update deficiencies and in the district facilities, we quickly identified that there were delays in the approval process. Those contracts that were approved on March 28th took us 90 days just to be fully executed. It wasn't until the second week of July we were able to start our projects. When we started our projects, we were able to accomplish to date 120 tasks off that list. But please know that our task and our list is not exhausted. We're not finished, and we will continue until everything is completed. I've distributed packets to you to let you know the dates that we will be addressing each of those ongoing issues, and those things will be posted on the Chancellor's, I believe it's the Chancellor's notes, and we will continue to work with each facility's committee and go to the monthly meetings with them to, again, to address their priorities and to discuss things as we complete them. So during the 90 days, I would like to let you know that we were able to address the Laney Building G compressor, the F Building welding shop, the Merritt P HVAC motor replacements, the Merritt chiller plant repairs, Merritt CDC HVAC, Alameda Building E and F HVAC repairs, Berkeley HVAC repairs, and there's still more HVAC repairs and replacements that we still have to address that were more extensive that we could not address during the 90 days. But again, it's ongoing and we will complete them. We are also continuing with ongoing elevator upgrades and repairs. So please stay tuned for all our progress. Thank you.
Colleagues,
Can I ask a question? Thank you, Vice Chancellor or Interim Vice Chancellor Atheria Smith. Could you tell us about the heaters? And it may have been what you had just said, but I only know the heaters at Laney that caused a huge problem last year. Where are we with the heating situation? Because we're entering into fall. And there are many questions that I have, but right now that for me is a huge priority.
Sure. As a matter of fact, it was related to the CUP project, which is the central, we're upgrading the central plant at Laney. So our timing was off. There was delays at DSA. So, and because we had, I think we've kept you abreast on all the delays that we had at DSA of not approving. They finally let us approve it. And I'd like to thank Swinnerton and Gil Bain for getting into gear and getting the CUP project moving. I asked them about the boiler situation. Upcoming, this winter. They said the boilers will be functioning before Thanksgiving. So I am going to push them to see if we can get them functioning prior to that. So we will not address those issues again. We still have backup boilers, but to have the new boilers would be even better.
Is it possible that you come back to us at every board meeting? Because this is too serious to let go. So every single board meeting, giving us an update to make sure that that's finally taken care of would be really great if we could just convey that to the chancellor. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, colleagues? And we have trustee Gonzalez, you went zooming in, wanted to give him an opportunity. If you had a question.
I'm not sure which question we're referring to, President Delphine
No,
Polk.
I'm just giving you the opportunity to ask a question if you have one.
Oh, no, I'm all good. I want to congratulate the General Services staff on getting that done. And I want to reiterate the comment that Trustee Napoli-Bellarice just made. This is super serious. We can't let this slide, but I suspect everyone in the room understands that. Thank you.
VP Quinlan?
Yes, Vice Chancellor Smith. One of the concerns is, I know from experience, is the elevators at Laney. And I tried to go back and find it, and I saw repair as opposed to replace. And I hope those elevators are going to be replaced. They've been basically on our list since 2005, Measure E, that they were going to be replaced, and they still haven't been replaced. And it's a huge problem.
Okay, so let me just clarify. Are you talking about the replacement that's happening in the tower? Or are you talking about the replacement? The tower. Okay, so there's two issues that we need to discuss about the elevators in the tower. One, the DSA issue that the new elevators has to go through the DSA process. So in order to address that, while it's going through that process, and we don't know how long that's going to take, they're still designing things that have to be done. And yes, you're right, it's been a long time, but to offset that, we're doing a modernization immediately on those elevators that does not require DSA authorization, and that will be starting on 9/18 and will be completed by 9/22. The other elevator, the second elevator, will then be upgraded soon after that. And we also have to work with the state inspector. So once elevator A is approved by the state inspector, then we will go on and improve the elevator B and get state inspection off of that.
Thank you.
IVC Smith, I have a quick question. So a lot of the anticipated dates for additional repairs is listed as October 1. Are we on schedule to meet those as well?
Yes, actually, we brought on more contractors, and I'm working with HPLE, our ground staff, our engineers. I mean, it's really a all hands on deck effort that every day, every project manager, everyone who is available are working on these items, again, until we exhaust the list. So I have divided up the things that we can address by October 1st, November 1st, December 1st, and at the end of the year. Again, we will work with all the facilities committees to make sure that they're on board, they understand what's going on. If there is a delay in addressing any of these items, we will let them know what that delay is. It could be a contracting delay. It could be that the service is not available, but we will keep them abreast. If one item is not available, we will move on to the next item, but we will constantly keep this list going.
And the contractors that we're bringing on, they're going to be held to that accountability as well, right? Because
Absolutely.
you mentioned bringing on contractors to complete some of these projects. They're going to be held to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they will be contracted.
Thank you.
Okay, again, like everyone said, thank you. for this report and the 90-day project list. I just want to clarify, just to make it perfectly clear. It wasn't a lack of awareness. There's a process in place to identify all these issues. The issue was not even monetary. It was more so an approval process, which could be monetary, but it's the approval, correct? That on our end only, I mean.
Yes, it's the approval process. So the chancellor is working with staff, the district office, to try to better our processes so that we don't have, so it's not so delayed. But I just wanted everyone to understand this initiative not only identified the defects that we have in our facility, but we also, because it was such a rush, such a push, and it was so demanding, we were able to see the defects in our processes too, because things should run more smooth than what they do. And that's what we're working on also.
Okay. And just to follow up with this 90-day, because I'm reading the first page, I guess the abstract of sorts. And it says, after developing required administrative procedures to address the needed complex technical repairs of this initiative, yada, 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 we are able to do so. And so I'm just wondering, just the required administrative procedures, is that something that we can look at to use moving forward past any urgent 90-day, or are we creating something new again?
No, we're not creating anything new. There are contracting procedures that we have to, for the state and for the district, whether that be our thresholds, whether that be how we bid out a project, we still will keep to those procedures.
So what we've worked toward, I'm just clear, what we've worked towards is something that we can use moving forward, and we have started the process for anything that's not urgent, if you will.
Yes, and then also we are going to work to improve those processes.
Thank you.
Anything else, colleagues? Okay, seeing no more questions, thank you very much. And we will now move to 5.1, first reading review